Hello dear students, this is Geeta. Welcome to my channel. In the previous video we have seen rectification of errors, the theory part and introduction. In this video we are going to see the numerical portion. Rectification of errors is discussed under the headings errors located before preparation of final trial balance and errors located after preparation of trial balance but before preparation of final accounts. Errors located before preparation of final trial balance. It means it includes errors located before preparation of trial balance and at the time of preparation of trial balance. Under this, we are going to see there are two types. One is errors affecting one account, which is also known as one-sided error, and errors affecting two or more accounts, that is known as two-sided errors. Today we are going to cover errors affecting one account or one-sided error. This affects the agreement of trial balance. The errors which affect the agreement of trial balance. It means the trial balance total does not tally on the debit balance and the credit balance does not tally, match each other. So that type of errors we are going to see. These errors are identified before preparing a trial balance and rectified by giving an explanatory note. We are going to rectify it just by giving an explanation because we cannot prepare a journal entry. For preparing a journal entry, we need at least two accounts. Here, the error is in only one account, so we cannot prepare a journal entry. These errors, one-sided errors, may be an error of costing, carrying forward, balancing, posting, an account being not included in trial balance. We will see one by one. Before that, you must remember AE. There is an increase, we have to debit. A means assets. E means expenses. Whenever there is an increase in assets and expenses, we have to debit that account. Whenever there is a decrease in assets and expenses, we have to credit it. When the expenses will get decrease, I have explained in my previous video. If you have not visited, please do visit that video so that you have a thorough understanding. LIC, liability, income and capital. Whenever there is an increase, we have to credit it. Whenever there is a decrease, we have to debit it. These items will appear on the credit side of trial balance. Okay. So now we are going to see one by one. One-sided error due to costing. Costing means totaling. When we total a subsidiary book, suppose we have totaled by mistake, wrong amount is written instead of writing the correct amount, the error happened due to costing. It is known as a costing error. Let us understand through an example. Purchases book under cost by rupees 700. Whenever you see a word under costing or over costing, under means it is less or short. The words are used interchangeably. Under costing or short debit or credit, less debit or credit, whatever it is, under short less means the same thing. Purchases book under cost by rupees 700. Purchases book is a subsidiary book. In the subsidiary books, I have shown it. For example, the accounts are posted like this. Ram account 4,000 rupees, Ravi account, because we have purchased from these fellows on credit. All of you know that purchases book is to record goods purchased on credit. So Ravi account 2,500 and Raju account 6,200. The total I have made it as 12,000 rupees. Actually the total is 12,700. So there is a mistake of totaling, costing error. Okay. But the individual accounts are posted correctly. Individual accounts, Ram account is posted on the credit side of, because he is a creditor 4,000 rupees. Ravi account is posted as 2,500 and Raju's account is posted as 6,200. But while posting the purchases account, the total amount is carried as less 12,000. Okay, so we are writing debiting to sundry debtors 12,000 rupees. This should have been 12,700. There is a short debit. So whenever there is a short debit, you further debit it. If you want to increase, put it on the same side. Okay, if it is a short debit, you debit it further. If you want to increase, you have to debit it. That's what I have shown you here on the assets and expenses. If you want to increase, you have to debit it. Because here purchases is an expense, we want to increase, so you have to debit it. Same side you have to increase. For decreasing, you have to go to the opposite side. Okay, in accounts we are not adding or subtracting. Instead we are doing debit and credit. Okay, if at all you want to increase a debit, you have to further debit that account. If at all you want to decrease a debit, you have to go to the credit side of that account. Okay, so I hope it's very clear. So you have to write purchases account debited with 700 rupees under cost, now rectified. You can write purchases account should be debited also. It's not a hard and fast rule. Okay, now coming to the next example, sales book over cost by 2,000 rupees. All of you know sales. Sales is an income. So income is always on the credit side. Sales account nature is credit side. So sales book, individual accounts are posted to the debit side correctly. Only the total mistake has happened. Costing error is only total error. 2,000 rupees. It is entered more. Over cost means more. So we have to reduce it. What is the nature of sales account? It is credit. So now in order to reduce, we have to come to the opposite side. We have to debit the sales account. So sales account is debited by rupees 2,000 over cost, now rectified. Let us move on to another example. Purchases return book. This is also a subsidiary book. Purchases return book over cost by rupees 100. This purchases return book is also known as return outward because we are sending the material out. So you can remember easily, whatever we purchased, we have sent it back. So purchases return account has got the nature of credit because the expense is decreased. I have already told you, whenever there is a decrease in expenses, you will have a credit. If you remember this also, you can remember the nature of that account. Otherwise, if you know that, it's well and good. Okay, so purchases return account is the nature of credit. It is over cost, so we have to reduce it. In order to decrease, we have to go to the opposite side. So we have to debit that purchase return account is debited with rupees 100 over cost, now rectified. Let us move on to the other example. Sales return book. Sales return is income has come down because once we sold, the income has gone up, so we have credited. When the sales return has come back, so there is a decrease, so we have to debit that account. Otherwise, you can remember sales is on the credit side and sales return is on the debit side. So sales return book is under cost, so we have to increase it. So in order to increase, we have to write it on the same side. So we have to debit it. Sales return account debited with 2,000 rupees under cost, now rectified. Clear? So again I am explaining, if there is a short debit, you want to increase that debit, you put further debit. If you want to increase a short credit, you further credit that account. In order to decrease a short excess debit, go to the opposite side with the difference amount. If it is excess credit, go to the opposite side, debit side, with the differential amount. Now let us move on to the next one. Costing we have completed. Now we are moving on to carry forward. Carry forward error. I'll explain it with an example. A debit balance of rupees 5,000 was carried forward as a credit balance in Raju's account. See here, there is a mistake of only the side. Amount is correct. So, okay, a debit balance of rupees 5,000 is carried forward to the other side, credit side. The amount is correct here, only the side has got changed. So, I have explained it here. If Raghu's account, suppose we assume that it is in page number 10, the balance brought down. Balance brought down, which side it appears? It is called in that name. It is debit balance. So debit balance of 5,000. When we had moved on, when we turned the page to the next side, 11, by mistake it is written on the credit side. Okay, 5,000 rupees. First, we have to remove this figure. So in order to remove this figure, in order to decrease this figure, decrease means totally we have to decrease it, or remove that figure, we have to write it on the debit side. Then what happens? So the debit and credit will get nullified and the balance will become 0. But I want the balance on the debit side. Correct is, entry is, I want the balance on the debit side. So I have to bring this from here. I have to bring 5,000 more here. So that what will happen, see here, there was a credit balance by mistake. So this credit balance and this balance will tally. Now what happened? Balance carried down will be 5,000 rupees. So the total, you are able to see, I hope so. The total is 10,000 rupees. And here also the total is 10,000 rupees. This carried down will come as brought down as 5,000 rupees. Exactly the debit balance as 5,000 rupees amount has come now. So whenever there is a side change, I have already explained this in my BRS videos also. Whenever there is a side change, you have to rectify it with the double the amount, because one amount will only nullify the error. One amount will only erase the error what we have done it. So for doing it in the correct way, correct amount we have to bring into that account, we have to put one more amount. Okay, so Raghu's account, hope it is very clear. Raghu's account is debited with 10,000 rupees, wrongly credit forwarded from debit side to credit side, now rectified. Okay, now we are moving on to the posting error. Whenever you saw a posting error, it is identified with the keywords like posted, debited, credited. Whenever you see these words posted, debited, credited, you can understand that there is an error of posting. Okay, so let us understand through examples. Cash sale to Amit. What happens? Generally, children, when they see the name, immediately they debit the name or credit the name. No, you have to be very careful. Cash sale. So no need of this fellow at all. Whether I am selling it to XYZ, I am not bothered. Cash has come inside and goods has gone out. So cash is debited and sales account has to be credited. We don't need this fellow. So what happened? Cash is an subsidiary book. Cash is entered, recorded in a subsidiary book. Posting is done only in sales account. You have to understand that also. It is written as cash sale rupees 10,000 posted as. It means the side is correct, only the amount is changed. So sales account is to be credited with the 10,000. Instead of crediting sales account with 10,000, they have credited with 1,000 rupees. By mistake, this error has happened. So what happened? Sales account needs further credit of 9,000 rupees. So we have to increase the balance of sales account. So in order to increase the balance of sales account, we have to credit the sales account. So sales account is credited with 9,000 rupees. Hope it is very clear. Now coming to next item. Here I have shown sales account is credited with 1,000. So we need to, in order to increase, we need further credit 9,000 rupees. So sales account is credited with 9,000 rupees. Wrong posting, now rectified. Now next example is sale to Raman, rupees 5,600, posted to his account as 6,500. Again, posted to his account as. Okay, here again the side has got no problem, only the amount has been changed. Sales is recorded in a sales subsidiary book, only the Raman account has got affected. Okay, it has got affected. So what we do it, whenever we find a word sale, sale means it is credit. So only the fellow has to be debited. He was debited exactly, but amount was written wrong. Instead of debiting him with 5,600, he was debited with 6,500. So we have to remove the excess amount debited to his account. Okay. So in order to remove, we have to go to the opposite side. So Raman account is to be debited with 5,600, but we have debited it with 6,500. So the differential amount we have to put it on the opposite side. We wanted to reduce his balance. We wanted to decrease the balance. So we are going on the opposite side. If we want to increase the balance, we have to go to the same side. So 900 I have put here. So the balance carried down will become 5,600. The brought down will become 5,600. This way we have rectified the error. So next, moving on to the next example, received cash from Neha. The moment you see received cash, cash has come inside. What is your journal entry? Cash account debited. Automatically this fellow will be credited. Neha has to be credited with rupees 2,000. But what they have done? They have debited to her account. I have already told you, you will be seeing the words posted, debited, credited. So debited to her account. So first what we have done? We have debited her account instead of crediting her account. So what we have to do? We have to remove this. In order to remove this, we have to go to the opposite side so that this balance is decreased to 0. Same amount when we put here, this account becomes 0. But I want to credit Neha with 2,000 rupees. She has given cash. So in order to credit her, we have to bring one more 2,000 rupees. Again, this is a side change. So whenever there is a side change, the rectification will be needing you to put double the amount. This, when you practice more, you will be able to do it without any thinking at all. Sales to Ravi, rupees 20,000. Next example, credited to his account as 2,000. Now sales is to be credited. Automatically Ravi has to be debited. But instead of debiting, we have done a mistake of crediting, opposite side. And one more mistake has happened. The amount was also written wrong. Here both the problem has come. So Ravi's account is credited with 2,000 rupees. First I have to remove this credit of 2,000 rupees. So I have to write it on the opposite side, 2,000 rupees. So this has become 0. But I want to debit this fellow with 20,000 rupees. What I should do? So I have to make a further debit of 20,000. So what I am doing it, total I am debiting him, this fellow with 22,000. So that balance carried down will come 20,000 and brought down will come as 20,000, which should be the correct entry. So I have to debit this fellow with 22,000. 2,000 is for nullifying this error and other 20,000 is to bring the correct debit amount to his account. So hope it is very clear, and we are going with the last example. Stationery of rupees 175 posted twice to stationery account. Stationery is an expense account. Whenever there is an increase, you have to remember this has certain expenses. Whenever there is an increase in the expenses, we have to debit. Whenever we wanted to decrease it, we have to credit it. But here what we have done, we have debited this account with two amounts. So we wanted to decrease this 175 rupees. So we have to credit this account with 175 rupees. You can simply write stationery account credited with 175 rupees. Double posting of double amount now being rectified. That's all for this video. If you are new to my channel, please do not forget to subscribe, share, like and comment. Practice makes the man perfect. So practice, you will be able to do the things without any consciousness. Just like people used to drive, in the beginning what we do, we have to remember everything. I have to press my right leg for my speed accelerator and for my left leg to my clutch, and I have to put my leg in the center for my brake and all. But once you learned what you do it, unconsciously you are doing it. You don't remember and do the things. You will be doing it automatically. Like that, if you practice more, you will be able to do the rectification of errors without any problem. Thank you.